Is the current Raw General Manager channeling the first Raw General Manager? I'm Chris Wolvie, the Wrestling Fan, who always tells it like it is. I said Liv Morgan would retain the title, though didn't think she'd lose by DQ, so half a point there. And why can't Finn Balor win a damn match lately? Yeesh. Anyway, Adam Pearce has been a major authority figure since during the pandemic, when the WWE was quarantined inside the Performance Center before the Thunderdome era. And for over 3 years, he kept trying to keep the chaos to a minimum on both Raw and SmackDown, while William Regal handled NXT, from his home no less. But about a year ago, Paul Triple H Levesque was ready to start his own era in place of Vince McMahon, and his first order of business was to have separate GMs. So he moved Adam to Raw only and gave SmackDown to Nick Aldis. During that year before now, Pearce, I'm sure, thought he could keep a handle on half the roster much better. But with the transition from USA to Netflix slowly creeping up, the wrestlers seem to be getting more and more violent. Just one look at all the blood spilled in Hell in a Cell 2 weeks ago should prove that the Raw superstars are ready not for another PG era, but more of an MA era, away from basic cable. And Pearce? Well, now he's saying this was all according to plan. Pearce says that the whole reason he brought in monsters like the Three Bronze, Strowman, Reed, and Breakker, cutthroats like Drew McIntyre, Gunther, and Phillip Brooks, and anti-heroes like Seth frickin' Rollins and the Wyatt Six, was because he wanted chaos to reign on Raw. I mean, within reason, mind you. I'm sure that when Braun Strowman was hurt in the last Monster Standing match, Pearce didn't like that, but the chaos that was the last match of the last 3-hour Raw in USA, he claims to have loved it. After all, controversy creates cash. Now, where have I heard that phrase before? All right, back during the first brand break in 2002 by the original GM of Raw, former WCW head honcho Eric Bischoff. And chaos and controversy really ran rampant on WCW during the Monday Night Raw wars, thanks to Bischoff. Starting, of course, with making Hollywood Hulk Hogan a heel and the new leader of the New World Order, and then splitting the New World Order between Hogan and Lex Luthor, so you had 3 super factions against each other for control of the company. An attempt to veer people away from Raw when Mick Foley won his first WWE Championship backfired, as did kind of when Alundra Blaze trashed the WWE Women's title live on TV. But up until the DX days and the Attitude Era, Eric Bischoff's machinations were selling Ted Turner's baby over Vince McMahon's. Then when Bischoff became GM of Raw after WrestleMania 8, he let chaos reign as long as he approved of it. And he caused controversy when he brought back the WCW Championship belt and called it the World Championship when Brock Lesnar took the so-called Undisputed title to SmackDown exclusively. And even more when he merged all of the single men's titles on his brand into the world title. His relative dictatorship on Raw got so bad that they had to put Stone Cold Steve Austin as a co-manager to keep him in balance. Is that what Adam Pearce is doing? Letting the Mad Dog's chains a fair bit loose, but still ready to yank them back if they get too bloody? That may be so, but, I seriously doubt this was his plan ever since the last draft. In the years since he took over Raw, he had been doing his damnedest to make sure chaos didn't happen on his watch, just like he tried for 3 years prior. There were many times when it looked to me like Pearce was heading for a heart attack, or an ulcer at the very least. Has he now decided that he can't stop them, so he might as well encourage them? so long as nobody gets hurt, seriously hurt? Well, the more important question is if it will work like it did in the 2000s. When they moved to Netflix and can pretty much do anything outside of what we see in Squid Game, the extra freedom the wrestlers get just might help them get better at their jobs. Not to mention that the so-called second Attitude Era might just be the ticket to put AEW down several notches, just like the first one did with WCW and ECW. I guess there's nothing wrong with a little chaos, as long as it's organized. I'm Chris Ward with a wrestling blog who always tells it like it is. Pray for peace, and I'll see ya